And welcome to the AEW Dynamite Preview. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WhatCulture, joined by Dolly Boys, Michael Hamflett from WhatCulture, here to look ahead to tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review AEW Dynamite, but also AEW Collision, Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week complete with a very good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Michael Hamflett to look ahead to AEW Dynamite tonight. No Sidgwick. He's literally moving house, I believe, today, so I hope that's all going well for him. And we are going to try and be on our best behaviors so we don't get grassed up for talking smack about AEW Dynamite, because a very exciting world title main event rematch.
It's a big one. I'm glad they're going to it now. It was really, you missed it last week.
Yeah.
But bing bong, excuse me, Hangman Page has turned up outside, and it's not funny. It's very serious. The kick-ass squash of Wheelie at the top of Dynamite, followed by him basically putting Jon Moxley in his place.
Didn't he threaten to hang him as well?
Yeah. And then he decided not to, and the point was,
Wheelie was a bitch. Sorry, that was the...
Yes, there were 2 points. That was the first point. Second point was, where's your Death Rider mates? They're not here to look after you, are they? Like, I have got you, and I've got all of them running scared of me, and I will not run scared of you anymore, nor will AEW. My winning of this title was the, protracted end to the Death Rider's reign of terror, and he wants to finish that job here with a victory over Jon Moxley, who did you see the post All In Dynamite?
Yes.
So they had the tag match main event where kind of Moxley was visibly quite worried about having to fight Hangman Page.
And everyone's like, why is Moxley still here? I think people are used to, you lose the big world title match that you've held for ages and you go away for a bit.
But he's trying to come back and be like, I'm fine, actually.
Yeah.
And he's not. He's actually pretty intimidated by Hangman Page because of what's happened to him.
And everyone's banned from ringside for this, aren't they?
He's got to do it on his own. And Page was awesome because he was like, this is the challenge. I know you're going to say yes because you'll be a dumbass not doing. You're a dumbass anyway, so I'll see you next week, and just left. And Moxley's can't be sort of out-manlied by the sensitive cowboy that he was so apparently unafraid of before All In, but it's happened. And
stab himself in the head with a fork, or sort of get his...
Well, just to get out of it.
Yeah.
Right, I'm definitely coming to the ring. Ah, bloody hell, me eye! Oh no, Wheeler, you're going to have to cover. All right.
Claudio, come on, mate.
All right. So yeah, it's got all the sort of storyline elements you would want with where the characters are currently at now that Hangman Page is riding the high and is simply steadfast. I love this character, by the way. Steadfast in his refusal to not be the man. It's it feels like a constant response to a lot of the criticism, not just of his first title reign, but of often how Hangman Page feels within the AEW world. His biggest fans, and some of AEW's biggest fans, have always considered him the main character. And then there are periods where it feels like he kind of goes missing a bit. And all of this feels like a direct response to it to me. It's like, no, champions all over your show. He's the hardest, he's the best, he's confident in himself at long last.
Yeah.
And he's not going to take this anymore. It wasn't just about winning on the night and then it's a fictional universe, so that's probably problem solved, right? He's trying to sort of treat this as a real problem that is gradually being stubbed out. And by beating Jon Moxley tonight, he gets it done. I'm really fascinated in the quality of this match. Really fascinated. Me and Sid had talked about it before All In. Ultimately, the main event turned out great. But we were both really curious to see this match as a straight one-on-one.
Yes.
Without the usual violence and the bells and whistles that you do kind of associate with Hangman and Moxley. And that's not because they can't do it. It's just because it's obviously a style that has suited them in the past. I have started to think that Jon Moxley might not have a truly great straight up, no weapons singles match left in him. That is probably unfair, but I just can't remember the last one that truly moved me. The last Jon Moxley, no bollocks, no forks, no knives, no spoons match that really, really moved me. And I think this could be the one tonight. I do expect Hangman to win.
Yeah.
And what I would like is this to be, if we have to have blood and guts.
Oh, God, yeah.
Which we might not, but if we have to have it, there is a Cincinnati taping on the horizon. I can't remember when, but there is a Cincinnati taping on the horizon. And the idea that following 2 major losses and John Moxley himself expressing a bit of fear and doubt, they lose, the Death Riders lose and abandon him and leave him in Cincinnati in his hometown. And like they have lost conclusively, but John Moxley himself as a leader has been like dethroned. And maybe it's the start, like the babyface turn is this guy showing contrition for his actions or realizing that the way he was going about things was wrong or whatever. And his group of arseholes just, now we're done with you.
Yeah.
Like you were a false prophet to us ultimately. And now we've kind of realized that we can do just fine without you. Explore something like that. And I do believe that this will be the start of that. You know, I don't have any worries that John Moxley will win the title tonight. But I'm kind of, I'm interested in it nonetheless. They could. It's Hangman Page. He's a bit like how many times did we fantasy book like an MJF title win, shortening something like Eddie Kingston winning?
Yeah.
Hangman Page is a bit like that. You know, he is one of them sort of...
Yeah, feels like a fresh new beginning. Oh, wait a second.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can exploit his innate vulnerability for that. I just don't think they will.
No, I think for the time being, keep it on Hangman Page till... I mean, he passed all out, obviously.
Yeah. They're going to want to draw again down the line. But until then, they can have fun with Hangman Page.
Indeed, yeah. Mox is the interesting one here because, like you say, when they booked him in the post All-In Dynamite, people immediately were like, they're going to lose this match, and then immediately the Death Rider's going to like turn on him, beat him up and stuff. And Andy and I were sort of discussing this on the news today when, you know, Mox has talked about his role in the Death Riders and the whole storyline. I will never admit that actually the Death Rider storyline was good. No, it came good in the end for a cathartic win for Hangman Page, and it's been useful for someone like Marina Shafir, but that doesn't justify the months of awfulness that preceded all of that. And there's also the thing of do you have him lose here and then immediately get chucked aside by the Death Riders? Do you have him done after Blood and Guts, for example? Do you have him put over Darby Allin? For me, John Moxley needs to go away for a while. I agree they need a babyface turn as part of that, but I don't think you can do that turn. Well, you've already just had it with Hangman Page, sort of, in a very different way. You've had that babyface turn almost on screen as the matches have gone on with him. Mox, for me, needs to disappear from TV for a while.
I agree. I don't particularly need John Moxley right now, personally. People will debate how much AEW needs him right now. I wonder how much John Moxley wants to be away. I wonder, I will say this for the Death Riders. I don't think this is necessarily... I agree with you. I do agree with you, but I've said this when Sidge has been here as well, I think in some respects, every element of the Death Riders was an abridged bloodline. Every element of it. Because I thought quite large portions of the bloodline didn't work. But when we got there in the end, the ultimate euphoric payoff that justified the whole deal. But the bloodline was over a much longer period, so there were more opportunities for the cool moments, and then the bad bits stretched. Everything about the Death Rider was a shorter version of that. It was done and dusted within 10 months. So the highs were really, really high, but the lows were just cavernous, lows that you felt like you were never going to climb out of. But I wonder if John Moxley wants to step away or wants to kind of take this character in a different direction, because I would argue in reality, if not the fiction, it is mission accomplished. Was there a nice slate of healthy baby faces in a company that felt like it had gained its mojo back this time last year? No. And now, Swerve Strickland, Will Ospreay, Darby Allin, your current champion Hangman Page, all 4 of these names were like massive AEW stars, 4 of the most important people in your company before the Death Riders. They were. But where were they in the grand scheme of things? How were they being positioned? What were their futures looking like? How stable was AEW's future looking in terms of its babyface offering at that point, as opposed to now, when they're all lined up in big roles and they're all at any given point going to be the man, or, people... If you were wanting a fantasy book, the journey of the AEW title, you would maybe move it onto a heel like MJF next. But then what babyface is he going to move it onto? And so Darby Allin and Moxley, I think, is interesting. I feel like you got to do it. We fantasy booked when they moved into the Chicago residence, and this is the last Dynamite to do it. I'd like it tonight. Yes, the match plays out with no run-ins, but the post-match doesn't have to.
No.
And that's what brings out the glut of bodies and all of them gather in the ring.
Any Derby last week?
Can't remember.
He was in the crowd, obviously, the end of the post All In Dynamite, I remember.
I don't think it was. Can't remember. I'm forgetting. I really apologise, but
I haven't seen anything about that. I've sort of
significance.
skimmed what happened.
He should jump off the balcony with a coffin drop onto the bodies in the ring.
Of course, yeah.
It's really high, really scary, but like he's been somewhere higher and scarier.
Yeah.
And as well, I want to compliment Tony Khan and AEW on the management of this happening here. They had 3 weeks in the same venue in Chicago, 3 Dynamites, I should say, in the same place in Chicago. And they booked the first one as the post all-in kind of like celebration show. Everybody's riding the high. Some people are pretty tired, but here it is.
Yeah.
Last week was only all right, but in terms of this feud in particular, getting people back at the third time of asking by giving them a world title match is good. It's good booking.
Yeah.
It's good planning and booking for making sure you sell the tickets, you keep the atmosphere hot. There's absolutely no danger of the energy levels dropping.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you
I like this venue, yeah.
Yeah, this is how you keep this and preserve this. They're all live. It's not like it's a taped one where it's like, well done for buying your ticket because we're going to end this taping cycle with a world title match.
Don't tell anyone what happens.
It's like, no, we kind of need you to come back all 3 weeks. We had a good time at the first one. I've seen Hangman Page now, I'm fine. You haven't seen him defend his title, have you? Against the guy he beat 3 weeks ago. This is a big match, and I'm giving you it. I think it's like strategically, I think like the booking is worthy of praise.
You mentioned MJF there, and we're going to get onto him specifically in a few minutes, but I want to talk about a bigger thing that has been the talk of the WhatCulture office recently, which is effectively AEW's Money in the Bank that Athena and MJF are carrying. MJF will hear from him on tonight's show, and he's the sort of ghost at the feast when it comes to these world title matches. He's always just hanging around in the background. We saw Athena tease cashing in last week as well on Timeless Tony Storm. Yeah. It's a very divisive issue within wrestling fandom, AEW fandom in particular. I know Andy Murray is not a fan of the way this has been dealt with. They've sort of touched on this before. Obviously, you win stuff and you'll get a title shot at X show or whatever, or you get the Sonic ring or, those sorts of things. But this feels far more like gift from the gods, Money in the Bank, title match right now, as long as I sign the contract or whatever. What do you make of all that? And because can I shock you? I'm a fan of the Money in the Bank concept, but I get also people saying you can still be a fan of it and think AEW shouldn't be doing it because it's a WWE thing. I know other companies have done it as well, obviously.
Well, that's the answer here. Like, we're the wrong people because you like Money in the Bank and I like WWE.
We go together
like watching the Fed because it's better. I wouldn't do it if I was AEW because I'm AEW.
Yes.
And you could apply that to about 10 different things. I like Money in the Bank. And it is I like it in spite of its flaws. And I like it in spite of it is a survivor of quite a broken narrative world. 2005, it launched. Triple H doesn't really like it because he likes his kind of careful plotting, and I think he can carefully plot Money in the Bank winners into your careful plotting, but he doesn't seem to enjoy it as a gimmick. You know how anything can happen in WWE became a problem rather than a fun market. Money in the Bank was one of the few cases where, God, they just do anything on these shows, but there felt like there was consequence to it. The top title has changed hands, somebody whose surname is now an initialism for almost a superhero has just become the world champion because she got a briefcase.
I was trying to look back there as you were talking, sorry, to the last bad Money in the Bank cash-in. Can you remember it? Because I think the last few have been great.
Austin Theory trying to cash in for the US title and losing.
Yeah, November 7th, 2022, which was very much, Dad had that, and I don't like who's got it and what we're doing with it, so let's just bin it off.
Because, like, push.
Naomi's one, because I see people saying, it's a really tired concept. I'm like, is it? Naomi's was amazing recently. Tiffany's was great, I thought, as well. Io Sky, Liv Morgan. I think a lot of the women's ones back to like Nikki ASH.
There's a guy in the comments of our AEW coverage that like despises me using WWE examples for AEW stuff, which is good because he'll hate this last couple of minutes of audio or video. So that's good. But to that point, I truly believe that you can copy the other side's homework if something is good. Like at a fundamental level, like wrestling has copied itself for decades and decades and decades. There are very few original ideas, and even if they're original, the elements will be cribbed from other things, and but this is one of the ones that's too close for comfort. The lift here of I think last week they were saying execute the contract.
That was it. Me and Andy were scrubbing around trying to remember what the terms they were using.
And it was all about like having the pen to sign the contract and whatever. And like Athena kind of looked dumb because she was like, if she was so determined to execute the contract, why don't you just stand ringside rather than being up in the balcony? I know why you're in the balcony, you're trying to make your point that you were where Toni Storm was last week. But if the big plan is this, you probably want to be closer to her.
And your plan is, Billy, after you lose the match, which you're going to, smash her.
Beat her up. Like and this is why you probably shouldn't do it. WWE, even the version of it that has been substantially better post the game Triple H taking the reins.
Damien Priest cash in, man.
Amazing. All-time stuff. Like, even when it's great and it is and they've proven that it can be great, it does still invite quite a lot of plot hole investigation. Like, if you really want to do it, if you really have the opportunity to do it whenever, there are so many more whenevers than what we see on screen. So many more whenevers. There are so many more opportunities to do it where you could just I'll just get it right now, actually, thank you. But like, you have to sort of extend a lot of latitude to the why they've not used it on this night and why they've not used it here. And even a lot of the cash-ins where it's like, the bell's rung. Like, just take out when you're about to cash in, before you do, bring with you a massive baseball bat and break the legs before you do it. There's so many questions that you shouldn't have to ask. But WWE, like, I think at this point, because it happened in the world that was so broken, now it happens in a bit more of a fixed world. It almost feels like the wacky aside, Money in the Bank. If you're AEW, just don't invite the wackiness in the first place.
The difficulty is, of course, is there's not a term to use that I can think of aside from guaranteed title opportunity. Your brain just goes Money in the Bank, which is a WWE term.
And this is the thing, right? I'm not precious about this. On its own, MJF's one I really like at the moment. Athena's less so. MJF's I really quite like this idea of like, no, this is just my safety net. I'm beating you, Hangman.
Because Rollins did that back in the day, didn't he? He had a title match with Lesnar and Cena whilst holding the briefcase.
Rollins did. Edge won the Gold Rush tournament when he still had the briefcase. So I like that. I like that a great deal. And it also, as a heel, you can be a liar. And me and you were talking about it, but I think everybody's immediately gone to, he wrestles Hangman Page, and Hangman Page beats him, and then he chop blocks him, or he does something after the bell, and he's like, guess who's executing the contract, asshole.
Yeah.
Like, that's heel stuff, and I don't actually mind that, but I do think you are inviting your audience to make comparisons when you simply didn't need to do that. You mentioned Gift from the Gods, the Lucha Underground one. Even that, I'm pretty sure, was like, I'm calling my shot for next week.
Yes.
I've got I imagine that.
I quite liked it. Well, I will say this for Athena. I quite liked it the week after All In, where she seemingly wrote down when it was going to happen, but no one knew.
Again.
But then I found out that last week she was just like, right now, actually.
Yeah, again, these gimmicks are there to be tweaked, and it's like when we've talked about the Casino Gauntlet and how some have been better than others. And could you have fun where there's the pinfall in the first two people, right as the third person's walking down the aisle, for example, these are big, broad concepts, and I don't know yet. I don't think there's any evidence as such. I'm just seeing a lot of it. Like, we had a lot of comments last week that didn't like it. Sidgwick doesn't like it. So I'm sensing that the people that where AEW's in their blood, I just don't think want these types of concepts on the wrestling show. And it almost doesn't matter what I think, because I can welcome a bit of bollocks on Dynamite if it's performed well, while still sort of thinking, I probably shouldn't be here. I should probably watch this on a Monday and a Friday, not a Wednesday. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But the example I used last week was the Adam Cole and MJF dance-off. I loved it. And I loved everything about that story, pretty much until Adam Cole rolled his ankle, and people would look back on that and be like, That was we were hitting rock bottom City Jones.
Yeah.
That story was like, it's still representative of people. I mean, it did get very daft with the devil, and I wouldn't endorse that, but people use that story as the kind of stick to beat rock bottom era AEW with, and large portions of it I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I don't think that was the lowest point for me.
And, that's its own conversation, isn't it? But I just think I could sort of stand back from that and say, I like this. I like it because of my WWE leaning sensibilities, and I'm watching Dynamite, so that's probably not ideal. And I would say that is true about Execute the Contract, like the magical pen.
We could get a cash in tonight, I suppose, because we'll mention it now. There's no secret, so there's no ladies' night.
What if there's no what if you've got your contract, you got your pen, but then the ink's run out, and you're trying to like stab your name in like that, like that. And hang on, has that happened? Was that not a Christian Cage gag one week?
Someone nicked his pen.
Keep saying, take my pen, mate. Because it was to save him from himself, wasn't it? Because he'd seen that there was people backstage.
Or maybe he's just early. Sometimes timings with these sorts of things.
Christian Cage has got like a bookie's pen. It doesn't.
Not yet, mate.
Sorry,
a dobber. That's what you should get, a stamp. It'd save you time, wouldn't it?
You can execute the contract whenever you want, but twist. You've not got a pen. You've only got white chalk. Or invisible ink.
I was going to say something very similar. Do you remember the fountain pen eraser?
Yes.
She's filling the contract, and then the match is happening, and they go, "Excuse me, sorry, it's not been filled in. It's got that smelly eraser pen thing on."
Athena's got the contract, and Tony Storm's like, "Well, joke's on you because you've not signed it, so you can't execute the contract." And she's like, "Joke's on you, actually." And then somebody pisses on the contract and reveals that it has been pre-signed for that very date because she's done it in invisible ink that can only be revealed in piss. Have I got that mixed up? Is it the piss that makes the invisible ink, or is it?
I've no idea. I was just thinking about when you used to make those old shipwreck maps by putting tea bags and then putting it in the oven for a bit.
Setting fire to a corner or something.
I've got a contract here from 1863.
Because she's timeless.
And
Athena's like, I went back in time.
Yeah.
To when you were hanging out with Henry VIII. And like, you would have been his seventh.
We'll talk about the women's match
that's
now,
impossible. Though. Catherine Parr was still, she outlived him, I think. Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded, survived.
Execute the contract.
Three things I would rather be before having to watch 2023 Dynamite. Divorced, beheaded, died. I'm joking.
Anne Boleyn, Jane Seymour, Anne of Cleves, Catherine Parr, Catherine Howard. There's one more.
Tori Wilson.
That's the one.
Let's do this.
Divorced. Oh, wasn't that...
Wait, what was the ones you said? What are the five?
Anne of Cleves, Anne Boleyn, Catherine Howard, Catherine Parr, Jane Seymour. Wasn't the first one?
Wasn't it?
Catherine of Aragon.
I was just going to say, was Catherine of Aragon not... Is there three Catherines?
Hang on. Henry, this is the real quiz. Henry VIII wives. Right, here we go. Catherine Parr. Oh, I'm going to say this in a weird order.
She was the sixth.
Catherine of Aragon, first, OG.
Yeah.
Second coming, Anne Boleyn. Jane Seymour.
Yeah.
Anne of Cleves.
Jane Seymour was the one he loved, wasn't he?
Yeah, she died.
Yeah.
Anne of Cleves, very brief.
Where's Cleves?
I don't know, actually. Cleves.
Can we all be that? Can you be Adam of Chesterfield and I'll be Michael of Sunderland?
I don't think it's Cleves School somehow. The Duchy of Cleves was a state in the Holy Roman Empire. Where's that? I don't know. Oh, the Lower Rhine.
Oh.
I don't know. Somewhere in Europe, innit?
Yeah. What was that about?
Henry VIII.
Who's he working tonight?
He is, as far as I know, not booked.
I'm surprised he's not in a tag match between Josh Alexander and about 4 other people.
Henry VIII, 8-man.
Tudors versus Stuarts. It's like all the 4 Stuarts have to be called Stuart, either first name or last name.
You could do it.
Could we get there? Stu Grayson.
Igor Tudor. I think he's a goalkeeper for...
We're just not bothered about wrestlers.
Yeah,
right,
I just...
that's made life a lot easier. Stuart Little, the mouse. He's out there.
Weak link, I reckon, for me.
Tudor Crisps.
And we said we were going to be good.
Ed Tudor Paul.
He's got enough on his plate. His plate's in the bloody moving van because it's going to his new house. So don't grass us up.
4 and 4. If we're going to do this properly.
What are we doing? Tudors and Stewarts?
Tudors versus Stewarts, 8-man tonight in Dynamite, right? And then who wins? So we've got Stu Grayson and that goalkeeper you just said.
Igor Tudor. Was he goalkeeper? He was definitely someone who used to sign on Football Manager. He's a Croatian football manager now. Good for him. No, defensive midfielder.
Actually, Brian, if you listen to this, Brian Weddy, if you can make the match graphic for this, then we could maybe get it online and see if people think it's actually
Henry VIII man.
Yeah, Henry VIII man. Right, so we've got, Henry VIII man. So that goalkeeper, it's called Igor
He's
Tudor.
not got his defender. Igor Tudor.
Igor Tudor. Stu Grayson, they're the team captains.
Yeah.
Then you've got Stuart Little and a packet of Tudor crisps.
Yeah.
They're the next team.
Stewarts?
Ed Tudor Pole
Okay.
from the Crystal Maze. And John Stewart from when he ran in at SummerSlam that time.
Yes, wrestling history.
So we need one more. Who was the Tudor you said?
Stewarts.
Well, I think we need to come back. Maybe Stewart's can be the manager.
Mascot.
Mascot, yeah. A big pack of Stewarts. Tudor.
Shooter.
Tudor.
Tudor.
Right, the shooter, yeah, Shota Umino. Right, so they're the Tudors. Stone cold face of the Tudor. They're the Tudors. We need one more Stewart.
So you've got Stuart Little, Stu Grayson, John Stewart.
And
Stuart Pearce.
Stuart Pearce, of course, Psycho himself. Psycho Stu.
He'd be in the Death Riders, probably.
Yeah. Well, no, Psycho Stu, of course, he defeated Shawn Michaels in 1996.
Indeed.
Title. Psycho Stu. So there we go. So yeah, there's Tudors versus Stewarts. The Tudors are managed by a packet of Stewarts.
Yeah.
There's a mascot.
I think Stuart's got to go over here.
Stewart's are winning. 100%. Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's the Henry VIII man. He's not letting the Tudors go over, is he, in his own match?
Come on.
There we go. So that's advertised. That's one of the big Dynamite matches tonight. Sure, there's a graphic for it. You don't have to do that, Brian, but...
I'd like to see me as Henry VIII.
Right, come on. Somebody said I look like him, I think, because he's got like his picture.
Yeah, you do, yeah.
He's got a big square head, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Like the
latter day Henry VIII. I don't know if he was a piece back in the day.
Yeah. You just look like the fat bastard Henry VIII that we all know with the big square head and the massive gut. The glutton, basically.
Let's have a look at see if we can get any... Yeah, that's you. That's you, that is.
Henry VIII man. What else is on other than the Henry VIII man? What else?
There's one women's match advertised. That was we were trying to get to, and we got slightly sidetracked because it's time to Tony Storm and Alex Windsor taking on Athena and Billy Starks. So we could get a cash in tonight again, I suppose.
Aye.
I hope not.
Athena beat Alex Windsor on Collision.
Yeah, that was for the RH title, wasn't it? Yeah. Billy Starks was in an eliminator last week.
Did the heels win here and just pin Alex Windsor again? Like, I don't know. I can't quite decide this one. So while I'm trying to, I'll share some other thoughts. I haven't enjoyed Athena's promo work in AEW since she won this contract. There was a sort of, again, this is the sort of thing where like context is everything. I've got so much more patience for a wrestler going out there and spouting bollocks from their own Wikipedia in a WWE ring and a WWE mic. It just feels part of the furniture there. I don't need this forever champion doing it on Dynamite when she rocked up in April and had like one of my favourite matches of the year against Mercedes Moné.
Yes.
Like
Mania weekend, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. And then I've heard nothing but good things about this. I haven't seen it, but the Alex Windsor match as well. So that I have zero doubt and worry about the quality of this Toni Storm match when they do have it. None at all. And I do get...
I feel like they're rushing to it.
Well, and I don't know what the plan is ultimately. I think, how many days has Athena had the Ring of Honor title at this point, please? Because I feel like that might be relevant to this. I feel like they might be trying to... Because I'm sure thousands on the horizon. And that might be something.
According to the immediate response I get from Google, which is AI, so sorry about that, 961 days.
That's it. Like, that's got to count for something sooner or later, hasn't it? They're going to, like, the 1,000 days of Athena as Ring of Honor champion. It's something you want to...
It's pretty cool. It's only one reign, as in, it's not like a second go at it or a third go at it or like combined thing. Just one reign. I've held it since December 10th, 2022.
What's the date? 40 days from now.
It's 963 days, according to Wiki.
So 37 days. What's 37 days away from here?
What date is 37 days away? I know 3 weeks from tonight is AEW Dynamite in Glasgow, and the reason I know that is because we're hosting the after party, Sweet Chin Disco, and what's that? Forbidden Door is just a few days after that. Yeah, guess what? after party for that one as well at the Indigo too, with Swerve and Nana at both shows. So do join us for that if you want to join us. Dice.fm, and if you're a WWE fan going to any of the WWE dates that's not in Newcastle over the next couple of weeks, basically at the end of August. At the end of August that run over a couple of weeks. Join us for that as well, Dice.fm. I'm really excited. I woke up today and I was like, 3 weeks today, I'll be jumping on a bus with Mark Henry. Let's go. September 5th, 2025. So that's close to All Out.
It is, isn't it?
All Out is September 20th.
The reason I ask is because what if, because they're building a FUED, even though the FUED is around the idea of a contract execution. But when you build a FUED, the idea is you get to a match without the need for a contract execution.
Exactly, yeah.
So what I'm thinking is, could we potentially book this for Forbidden Dough?
Right.
And do like Tony Storm says, look, are you not learning from others' mistakes? I've taken on prolific champions very recently and won, and I will beat you too. And they go title for title at Forbidden Dough. And Athena gets it done, or she's stopped from getting to her 1,000th day by Tony Storm.
It's big.
It's big, right? It'd be one of the biggest matches on that card. And it's like Ring of Honor, I think, are on the graphic in the sense that every company that can use on the graphic, CMLL, Rev Pro, New Japan, I think, are all represented. You do title for title, and the idea is it's the obstacle to her 1,000th day, or she actually wins the AEW Women's World title. She stops Tony Storm while Tony Storm is riding his high from beating Mercedes Moné.
So does Athena pin Tony tonight even to set that up?
You could do, yes. And you could have her pin Tony Storm and then all of a sudden think, wait a minute, I've just done that. Billy, get her, let's do it again. And then Alex Wins is there to stop her or something like that.
Yeah.
That would be some bold booking.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that, no, Athena will pin Alex Wins with the O-face.
Probably.
But I like that. I like that pitch more.
There is let's talk about the other contract holder, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. What is going on with him? Because you've said about this, I like this is just a backup thing, but I thought that when he had the Hurt Syndicate backing him up, but is he gone from the Hurt Syndicate now? I missed 1 week.
It was
suddenly Cope's employing them, and Bobby Lashley's basically saying you're out of the group. And
we joke that when we miss a week of NXT, we miss a year. And it did feel like we saw a similar amount of story get played out over the course of like 3 segments last week. It was really odd. So first of all, the MJF Mark Briscoe stuff continues to simmer very, very nicely. Like they are, like last week wasn't the highlight of the promo exchanges, but they are
the line about Jay
locked in together. There is so much potential for how they could develop this. The type of stipulation or the fun MJF could have at the expense of Mark Briscoe beyond just calling him out in the ring or name checking Jay. Likewise, Mark Briscoe really getting some on MJF in the way that as a babyface, AEW have almost been sort of too liberal with how much they've beat him. He has stayed massively over. There's a Sami Zayn element to this.
Yeah, I agree.
He's like, they've understood that he is a perfect person to have on your roster and that you can beat him like a drum and it's not going to make a blind bit of difference next week. But as a result, we don't often see Mark Briscoe get loads and loads and loads of shining on heels in the middle of storylines. And I'd quite like that.
He was in the main event last week, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, was he in the main event last week? These two Dynamites are meshing together in my head.
Didn't they jump him afterwards, the Death Riders?
Of course, yeah. Thank you. But I like in terms of segments, like there's going to be weeks where he's going to get the win, like the last word and the win over MJF. And generally with Mark Briscoe, it's like that's only for the benefit of a backstage segment where he then has a TV match that he loses. So it's going to be interesting to see that fleshed out a bit more in this program that feels quite big and quite substantial. And yeah, to your question, more fun than what was going on with the Hurt Syndicate, because Cope paying for their services was weird. Correct me if I'm wrong. We've not seen the Hurt Syndicate put themselves out for hire on beatdowns. That's never been a part of their
mercenaries or anything like that.
They are now.
They just beat up who they want to, it seemed.
Yeah. And it might have been to foreshadow this time last week we were given a tag team tournament in which the only brackets were the match taking place and everything else was TBA versus TBA. And it might have been to foreshadow that the Hurt Syndicate are going to get themselves into a mix-up with FTR here ahead of fighting them at Forbidden Door when
Feels
FTR
like you
win
look at
the
the.
tournament.
We'll run through the whole bracket. But FTR in the semis against.
We've got a whole bracket now, have we?
Yeah.
So I'd only seen the TBAs from last week, so it was like, well, without knowing who else is in it, you've kind of created a bit of dissension between FTR and the Hurt Syndicate if you want to run that match if and when they win the tournament.
Do you want to guess the other 5 teams? So there's one team already qualified for the semi-finals. It's the Bang Bing Gang. I'll just tell you that. FTR versus Bing Bing Gang.
One of the guns is hurt, though.
Presumably, I don't know. I assume this was on Collision. Again, I've been out of the loop.
One of them got, maybe they...
I hope he's all right. Yeah, I saw that.
He was definitely injured.
Unless Juice.
Maybe.
Maybe. But you got 4 teams. Two of them, obviously, tonight. So we know about that one. Mm-hmm. Young Bucks versus the Outrunners.
Of course, yeah.
The other side of the bracket.
Bloody hell.
It is an odd couple.
A Don Callis family representative?
No, there is
like 20 of them.
There's an established tag team and an odd couple tag team. I do like the name of one of the teams.
It can't be our old friend Praito because Takeshi's in the G1.
Yeah, no, it's not that.
I wish it was. I miss that guy, you know.
Me too.
They were. Do you know what? You were off. You missed the Dynamite.
And how was he on the old?
He didn't turn up.
What?
They worked as a team and he didn't turn up. Sid was happier about that than I was. I was most disappointed that we did not get a visit.
So yeah, Bucks Outrunners tonight.
And it's God. I should be able to think of a single established team within AEW.
They are associated with a real bell end right now.
The Hurt Syndicate.
No, don't know who you'd be referring to there either.
Cool.
A real little Weasley knobhead right now. This other tag team, this established tag team.
The Crew?
No.
The Gates of Agony.
Correct.
I like that group. I like that stable. I'm really into it already. They've kind of like you'll see them. Like I wouldn't say it's like a reinvention, but they've retooled them a little bit to be Ricochet's heavies, and I'm quite excited to see them wrestle as that because we got like the promo with the 3 of them last week. I mean, Christ,
I'll put you out of your misery.
Okay. It is misery.
It's Brodido. Brody King and Bandido.
I like that.
So we could get like an FTR Brodido final, which could be fun.
Brodido.
But yes, tonight as
is
part
Brodido
of that,
a dance that you do when like Cotton Eye Joe by Rednecks comes on?
Brodido.
Where did you go, bro? Where did you go? I win the tournament, Brodido.
Bucks Outrunners. Sorry,
they weren't
tonight.
even like rednecks. You know, they weren't American.
What?
They were Scandinavian. Google it. Get on Googs. Rednecks were like I don't know what part of the world specifically they were from, but I'm sure they were like either like
Swedish group.
There you go.
Rednecks. My mind's been blown here.
90s.
Is that allowed?
90s Swedish imports, IKEA and rednecks.
And ready for some meatballs.
If it hadn't been for Brodido, I'd have got my meatballs 2 hours ago. So Brodido, that's all I can think of now. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Brodido?
Euro dance group Rednecks, yes.
They had a second single called Poppin' an Oak. And I'm pretty sure it was like, whenever you've been for Poppin' an Oak, I've been married a long time ago.
Sorry, I know we regularly go on tangents on the AEW Dynamite Preview, obviously.
How dare you?
Rednecks in 2020, there's just a picture of the group.
Mm-hmm.
And just presumably their names during the video recording of Nowhere in Idaho, sorry.
I've never been to nowhere in Idaho. I've been married a long time ago.
Spades, Cash, Pickles, one of the names I'm not going to read the name out of because it could get us in trouble.
Yeah.
Jiggy McClaganahan, Bone Duster Croc, and Purvis the Palegator.
Sounds like the first week we learned about the Retribution names, doesn't it? Remember that?
The band originally consisted of the lead singer Mary Jo, Bobby Sue, Ken Taki, Billy Ray, and Mupp.
Mupp. Anyway, we'll do Dynamite now, and then we'll do Fed next.
Yeah. I don't understand what it is. Sorry. Talk to me about Young Bucks versus the Outrunners.
I like this.
Yeah.
the Outrunners getting close to capitalizing on the Young Bucks. Lack of confidence, lack of adequate space with which to warm up because they ran out of money. They didn't really follow up on this last week. But I did, in spite of myself, I did enjoy what they did with them on the post All Out show. Where I do not care for the work of Justin Roberts, and I enjoyed how Justin Roberts announced them. Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks. A lot of people getting to have their revenge. Sidge made a point that I thought was quite salient about how it's not as if it was such a stranglehold or reign of terror that it's kind of the satisfaction.
Yeah, the catharsis.
The catharsis. Had they been, like, this is all stuff that they like find some guys a year ago. It's not like ever since then. It's like, oh God, I'm sick of coming to work. You ever worked in a place where there has been that manager that you dreaded seeing?
Mm-hmm.
Like I worked at a place once where he wasn't in all the time, but he would, and it was like a small business, but he wasn't in all the time. But as a result, it created this world where you could like look forward to a day where you knew he wasn't going to be in the office, and then like just sort of 10:45 in the morning for some reason he would like. You'd see his car pulling in, and there'd just be that like sinking feeling of, I thought I was just going to get a day, where I wasn't going to be bothered by his crepe, and now
squeeze me, and he walks.
I mean, it is funny.
It's funny,
but otherwise everything is worse now for the rest of the day. It's not like they've had that, given people that. Let us know, who was your worst boss and why did they make you feel terrible in your jobs? And so I think it's a nice, sharing is caring.
Oh, I love it. Reading about these things.
Yeah, like we've all had. And like, what did you do as a coping mechanism for those awful bosses? Because I think a lot of people will have had this memory, and it's almost like a sense memory, isn't it? It makes like your stomach go a little bit, or it kind of gives you like a sort of a certain taste in your mouth. I started thinking of a lunch I used to have quite often to just like have a little bit of satisfaction in that time. It was like, there was a particular, it was like a business park, and those little food vans would come and drive up. And this guy, like, he only ever had like 4 in stock, and I got like quite a good rapport with him. And I was like, would you mind just like, I will guarantee you a purchase every day if you just put one at the back. He was like, no bother. It was a Scotch pie.
Ooh.
And it was like a very, very circular mince pie with like the lid on. And I was like, how have you made pastry be so controlled?
Yeah.
Like, you can just eat the lid without the flakes going everywhere. It's like, is it a cake? But is it a pie? And the answer was always yes.
Yes.
That's my kind of lunch. And I got the taste for Scotch pie then, because I would think of like the dread of this dickhead pulling his car into work. And
I just didn't remember one of my old bosses when I was working in pot wash somewhere. And it's fairly universal workplace laws here in the UK, it's Wild West elsewhere maybe, that you have half an hour for a lunch, or maybe if you're lucky, an hour for a lunch. And so I'd have my lunch and I'd be sat in the little staff area, and this woman would come over and be like, well, if you finish your lunch, you might as well go back to work.
Oh.
No. So I'd basically just leave like a quarter of a sandwich for 25 minutes. And they'd be like, no, I'm finished. Okay.
Oh.
It's like, that's not how this works. This is my time.
Yeah.
But she was just
one of those.
It was just like, oh, this is the most power you're ever going to have, and you're really enjoying it. Yes. No, I'm not talking to you, love. I've started a timer. I don't know. How do I stop it?
Wilbourn's Apple Watch should be.
Stop it. I don't know what to do. Right. Carry on.
It turns out the boss was Wilbourn's Apple Watch, in which it was telling him back to work. So yeah, the Young Bucks have never been those horrible bosses. Let us know your horrible bosses stories. But the gimmick is funny. How much can they chip away at the facade? I'm curious to see it. Like the gear gets tattier or the video gets whatever.
Outrunners should have a ridiculous entrance tonight with loads of pyro, basically.
Absolutely over the top Outrunners. Yeah, 80s as you like. Everything out the air, ceremony, the whole deal. And the Young Bucks, ideally send them to the ring first so that you're seeing their reaction to it. These, and then the match itself, I'm actually quite looking forward to, because it's the Outrunners. They're extremely hit and miss in big matches like this, big opportunities. But
had a ripper with FTR on Collision a while back.
And then a not great follow-up on I watched the wrong one, on the All-In pre-show. Yeah. I should have watched the Collision one instead, but I didn't. I watched the All-In pre-show, and it was not so good, Al. How do the brackets work here? If the Young Bucks win, is it a Young Bucks FTR semi-final?
No, it'd be a Young Bucks Brodido semi-final, presumably if you're not putting the Gates of Agony through, because I'm putting the Bucks through. Sorry, Outrunners, I love you.
I think the Gates of Agony might go through, Like
Young Bucks Gates of Agony, though?
Outrunners Gates of Agony. The Outrunners get the upset. Hard to call this.
Yeah. I think it was because I'd like to see something like Brodito versus FTR in the final. Mm-hmm. Just glancing at this. Nothing to get. I love the Bang Bang Gang.
Brody King needs to start winning more.
Yeah.
Winning more and winning when it matters. Like, I need to see more of this. So I would like, Brodito. Brodito FTR. Yeah, go on, then we'll go with that. Brodito beat the Young Bucks.
But I'll bite on an Outrunners win.
Yeah.
And I want them to win because I just, love those guys.
Yeah. What do you think of the Young Bucks?
Funny, innit? They're, I don't know, they're obviously phenomenally talented.
Where are you at with them at this point? Yeah, as an act, what do you want? Is it fair to say, right, that as amazing as they are, still, like, I would argue at this point, less so over-criticised, but underrated, underpraised. Their matches deliver in a way that I think people have come to expect. So much of a quality standard that not enough people probably talk about. Sige does, and I'm glad he kind of flags this, but not enough people talk about just the high bar that the Young Bucks set.
Yeah.
But a bit...
Be an interesting test for them tonight with the Outrunners, for example.
Yeah. But if they did go away, you'd be like, fine. For a breather's sake.
Over the last year or so, they've, in my opinion, never mattered less to AEW. Like, they went away and then they came back to cost.
The Founding Fathers entrance on the boat.
That was good stuff, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, that match was fantastic, but like...
But with the Hurt Syndicate, it's weird because with the Hurt Syndicate, what are the Hurt Syndicate right now?
Yeah.
Babyfaces, heels, everyone loves them, but they're not very nice.
That felt like it was, like, you can't just pivot out of something sharply to say, like, the Hurt Syndicate beat up Cope this week. Well, we got your money last week, but we're not your mates. But it did feel like, they've got some sort of idea here. This is, like, going to last longer than just a simple payoff week. Like, Cope was being...
Because Cope and Christian versus Hurt Syndicate, for example, at All Out.
Well, I think it's Cope and Christian versus FTR.
Sorry, yes, you could do that as well.
But I don't know if FTR go in as champions and beat the Hurt Syndicate at Forbidden Door. You could get there. Christian Cage has yet to show himself, and he's got to, quote, find himself after what Cope asked him to do. And were you there for the reveal of the stable name of the new patriarchy?
I think I've seen this, but I've forgotten it because it's Uncaged.
Uncaged. Oh, so does that mean, do you know the stable name of Tekla, Julia Hart, and Sky Blue?
I think I've seen this one as well. This is some sort of toxic group, isn't it?
I think it might be.
What is it?
Would you like to take 3 humorously voiced guesses?
Is toxic in the name?
It is not, but I do want to infect the rest of it.
It's sinister in the name.
You are swimming closer to the tides of hell.
What is the name of the evil group?
Shall I give you a clue?
The Sisters of Sin.
No. Good guess, good start. I dare say they've even used those words. And there is an of in the middle. So you got 2 more guesses.
I feel like I have seen this.
I'm going to double check this because it's so...
Web, spider.
The web of spiders.
No, I'm trying to work through words.
So I guess.
Tekla is a spider. We have the mist. We have the mists of time web. The worldwide toxic web. I don't know. Tell me.
You don't want to see my guesses. The Triangle of Madness.
Oh, I wouldn't have got there.
Triangle of Madness and Uncaged rocked up last week. So we're like, ooh, don't be crap. Hey, don't even great shit, don't be crap.
Come on.
So both of them is it happening. Why I was talking about Uncaged was because Christian Cage finding himself should be ultimately to help Cope. You've got to get the heat on Cope again somehow. I don't know how, because he's so bloody hard and tough and clever and smart and rich and funny. I don't know how anybody gets any heat on Cope. John Moxley getting heat on Cope. He had to wear spike in his back to try and get him over. But somebody's got to get heat on Cope at some point in order for Christian to find himself and help Cope. But then does he find himself first by going nowhere near Cope? Does he in fact try and fight Uncaged?
Yeah, because it feels like you got to do that as well as the FTR thing. Yeah, is it not
Uncaged? I don't know, attack some people and then get into a feud with them, and then Christian Cage returns and kicks Kip Sabian's ass, and he's like, "I'm starting to find myself again." And then that's when he decides to mix in with Cope and
Kazumi, a mother.
Did I say that last week?
Oh God, that's
I'm worried that we're just
worrying.
saying. I can't have done. But I feel like I made a joke about because I don't know.
Finally, we also have Mark Briscoe, as we mentioned earlier, versus Ricochet.
Yes.
Long-standing feud, obviously, between these two.
Looking forward to this. Really, really loved their rivalry and payoff match earlier this year. So I expect Mark Briscoe to win.
Ambulance match it finished with?
Yeah, kicked ass. I think Mark Briscoe wins here.
Yeah. Get the ball rolling with his winning streak, absolutely.
They've started, which makes me wonder if, like, they might try to go with the Gates of Agony, and that's why they feel like they can beat Ricochet a little bit, you know? Because Ricochet is just not on the downswing as such, but his need to win has dropped of late, so you can beat him a little bit. Mark Briscoe getting this win as part of his run in with MJF, like, that feels set. The match will be tremendous. I just think they had really, really funny, energetic, and quite violent chemistry with one another.
Mark Briscoe teaming, I know it wouldn't work because they're just presumably just flying through these tag matches, but a trios match with Mark Briscoe team with the Outrunners who've won their semi-final would be loads of fun again.
Yeah, that'd be nice to look at. Mark Briscoe wins, cuts a promo.
Training montage, Outrunners and Mark Briscoe.
Down at the farm.
Yeah, an 80s farm. I don't know what that looks like.
An 80s farm, yeah. How would that be? So the equipment is all like sort of nostalgic stuff that you have to go to like a farming museum to get whatever the tractor was, like the tractor mower was, but in the 80s.
What's in this roof? Asbestos. Jesus Christ.
Like 80s chickens, like all the chickens have got like mohawks and
are
like really into like sort of like they're like new romantic chickens.
Yeah, like a blondie chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else is 80s? The chickens are just like watching the Goonies. And it's like, we're watching a new film of the Goonies.
Never seen it.
Ellis James of the Ellis James and John Robbins podcast. Don't listen to it, otherwise you'll hear where I've stolen all my stuff from.
Stealing stuff from elsewhere? Are you joking me on this?
Has this great, like really great observation that has completely ruined my enjoyment of when like a film or TV show tries to timestamp something. And it's like I say, like a living room in a working class house. And the year is, let's say, like 1985. I was born in 1985, so it happens in other things that happen. And that's why I can recall it. And, like, the TV will be on. Let's keep it wrestling-based for our wrestling fans. And it'll be like, well, earlier on this year, we celebrated the first ever WrestleMania. And, like, the kid will have, like, a WrestleMania 1 poster in his bedroom. And it's like, it couldn't be more like, and now we're getting very excited for Live Aid, of course, which we'll be tuned into later. And don't forget to watch your favorite Live Aid stars. And the kid will be reading his Live Aid program. And the whole intention is 1985. But of course, in real life, we're not as like instantly connected to the culture of the moment.
Give me my Frankie Says Relax t-shirt.
Especially back then. Like, I loved the Fed, but like I probably didn't get my first piece of official Fed merchandise until about 1997. You know, something like that, unless I was like going to a live show. And even then, that probably wasn't until years after I'd gotten into it. It's not like sort of, well, yeah, I'm really excited to watch my first wrestling show, the Royal Rumble, while holding my Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior figures. And it just doesn't happen like that. And it is picked away at that now. And I look at
I don't like it. Yeah, it's so true.
The wallpaper and stuff shouldn't be 1985. It should be like 1979 wallpaper because your parents are saving up to decorate. You never quite, especially like rich people are. Models are of the fashion, but the rest of us, we're always behind. We're always playing catch up.
What's the point in changing the wallpaper if the Cold War's still going on?
That's exactly.
I don't know when the Cold War was.
No, I don't.
Early 90s, late 80s.
Early 90s.
I don't know.
You mental.
That was 88.
You think of the Gulf War? The
Gulf
War was the early 90s.
Yeah.
Wasn't the Cold War like a? I'm in real trouble here. Wasn't the Cold War like a 70s deal?
Or was it?
Because there's like post-Cold War panic and stuff in there.
Mid-1940s to the early 1990s, according to AI. So
50-year war?
Apparently.
Maybe it's still happening.
Collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, ended the Cold War, as we all know.
The end of the Cold War.
Yeah. Well, that's that.
History. You get British monarch history with the Tudors and Stuarts.
Yeah.
You get war. What is it good for? Filling time on a Dynamite podcast. Say it again.
He's back tomorrow, hopefully. Let us know your thoughts.
I thought we were very well behaved.
Yeah.
And I, as I've said...
didn't even mention them getting destroyed by NXT in the ratings last week.
I was just going to say... Stop that. I was just going to say... You put Hangman Page on top of your replay. So I was just going to say I've loved AEW this year. And I've continued to love AEW this year. And the Chicago residence, to me, has been proudly a very effective way to maintain the momentum from All In whilst trying to set up a bunch of new stuff in front of a crowd that are now 3 weeks in.
Yeah.
Super impressed. Like, I continue to be really excited for Dynamite, and I can't this week. In a different time, Paige and Mox is like a serial night for me.
Ooh, yeah.
There's reasons why I can't this week particularly, but like that, I will. Like, it will be the first thing I think of. Like, I'll shoot out of bed. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
An AEW title match is on my play. Fire out of bed to watch this one at like 4 a.m. I cannot wait for this. I feel like I know the outcome. I feel like I know the things to come, and I still can't wait to see it play out.
Yeah,
they have a hot hand with this title picture, and Hangman Page in particular. And I feel like it's important we end with a little bit of earnestness, because sometimes the guys don't like jokes.
Let us know your thoughts ahead of AEW Dynamite tonight in the comment section below, or on X at WhatCulture WWE. You can follow both of us on there. You don't need to tag Sidge or mention anything we talked about here on there. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
Follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE, as I said. Make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. Got the NXT review coming your way later on today. We'll be back tomorrow to review AEW Dynamite. But for now, it's been the Dynamite Preview. My thanks to Michael Hamflett. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.